What is going on, YouTube? You got Mr. Law Jones here with a brand new video. I hope all is well with y'all. It's been a little bit, man. Just been busy. Busy is a good thing though. Just been busy fixing up other people's cars and stuff, so haven't had time to kind of mess with my own stuff. So got a little small project I'm gonna do on one of my little flip cars here. So this is a 2013 Toyota Prius. I had bought this little car here maybe about a couple months ago, paid $500 for it. So it had a blown head gasket in it, but since then I actually put another motor in it. The engine that I got in this got about like 13,000 miles on the engine. The whole body of the car got like 195. I did quite a bit of little changes to this little car. So it had cloth interior in it, and I actually switched it over and put leather in it. And like I said, I had to do some little inside stuff to it. I changed the wheels out on it because it had like some little small little 15s. These are 17s on it, which is a little upgrade. Got to do a little bit of body work to it. But besides that, man, little car run really good. So like I said, $500, I guess you can't complain. Like I said, I got to do a little bit of body work on the side right here. So it looked like it had some little bondo here before, but actually got a little piece of metal right here. So this is actually going to be done the right way. So I'm gonna do that, and just got to fix the bumper cover up a little bit over here. So it's had a little collision at some point before I got it. But I mean, like I said, $500. I mean, who gonna complain, right? But anyway, today I'm gonna go ahead and do a little small project here. I'm gonna go ahead and replace the hub bearings on here. So what's the common problem on these here? The way it kind of makes like a roaring noise in here, so it had you thinking like it's a transmission problem, but verify that's not it. No codes, anything like that. When you get around between like around 55 to 60 miles an hour, it makes like a roaring noise, and then after that it goes away. Dog in the background, neighbor's dog. So yeah, like I said, it goes away, and after that, after you get past 60, you don't hear nothing. Below 55 you don't hear anything, but like between 55 and 60, or it roars, sound like a blender. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get the car jacked up and show you how to do this repair, and now we're gonna get on with it. All right, so I'm back again. So got the vehicle jacked up. So since I'm doing both of the hub bearings on this car, so what I want to show is real quick, like right here at the very front right here. So this little steel area right here, this is actually like a jacking point right here. You can actually jack it up from right there. And what I did was I had a jack stand right here, right under the subframe right here, and then I got one on the opposite side right there. So it's better to just do it that way here, because it don't matter how small the car, even though these cars are small, but at the end of the day, regardless how small they are, you don't want a car falling on you, because like I said, that can make a very, very bad day. So got it jacked up. So now we're gonna go ahead and take the wheels off. I'm gonna start with the driver's side first. We'll go ahead and do that one. Oops, let me get my finger out the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the wheel off, and we'll start on this driver's side first and get that one out the way, and then we'll go ahead and do the passenger side, and then that'll complete this project. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and take the wheel off of it, off this Prius. So what you'll need to do, you'll take a 21mm socket, and I'm using my impact gun right here, my Milwaukee. We'll go ahead and take this off here. So you see my socket that came out is because it don't have like the little ring around it. So I got one of those coming in here for it. So to hold that in place. And then we got the last one. Then that's it. Just kind of pop this, kind of knock that a little bit. Sometimes you have to kick these. Sometimes you rock them. I just pulled a little bit and it came right off. So that took care of that. And we'll take our lug nuts here, take these and put these out the way. We'll set those at the top somewhere. And excuse me. So got the wheel off now. So some of the parts and stuff we're gonna use to do this project is so these are the hub bearings right here. These are part of the Advanced Auto Part Car Quest. This is the part numbers for them, so it don't matter which side you go on. They can go on the left or the right. These are the spindle nuts that I'm using for this here. That's part number for that. On these Priuses here, so they have a 12-point socket, so it's a 30mm. So I picked this up through Amazon, and I'll make sure I put a link in the post for it. It was only like $13 for it. And this tool right here, this is made by SP Tools right here. And so what this tool does, so like it's actually basically to get that little dimple. So what that tool is, so when you really take this axle nut off, so if you see right here up in here, has like a little indentation right there. So what you do, you just take like a hammer and then you use that tool and you just kind of pick this up, because you want to lift this up here. So what you don't want to do is take your impact and then you take this off. So if you do that and you don't lift this dimple up a little bit, you can actually mess up the threads on the axle, and then that's going to require you to replace the whole axle shaft because of that. So you definitely don't want to do that. So we'll go ahead and get the brake caliper off, or either I can just take it off for the whole entire thing with the 17 millimeter right here, or just take it out of the caliper, which I probably do that. That's gonna be a 14 for that one. But and then like I said, at the back of here, there is a brake sensor for the anti-lock brake. So that's a 10 millimeter. So I'm gonna take that off because I don't want to damage that. And then the brake line, I'll probably take that off. That's gonna require 12. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting some stuff off of here, and be back in a minute. Alrighty, all right, so I'm back again. All right, so I got the front brake rotor off. I have the brake caliper bracket off of there. I have the brake caliper, and I actually took this off as a precaution. So this is the ABS speed sensor right there. So that's held in with a 10 millimeter nut, which is back here. And what I got here, as I explained in the last part of the video, so this is a tool here that I got here. And so what you want to do is you're just going to put this tool inside of this little slot right here. And then what you do, you just take your hammer and you just lightly tap. And then what that does, it just kind of just make that little ridge come up on it, because like I said, you got to take that off. And so, it's like an indentation in that nut to keep the axle nut from spinning, backing out on it. So this tool here kind of prevents that. So it don't prevent it, but it's help you to take this off a lot easier. So I wish I could show you how to do this here, but unfortunately I don't have anyone holding the camera, and it's going to be very difficult to try to do that. So I'm just going to actually just get the indentation out, just try to round it off a little bit more if I take that nut off of there with a 30 millimeter. Now that part I'll be able to show you, but I'll be back in a minute to do that. And also real quick, so you got a couple ways that you can take this take the hub bearing off. So it was actually held in with 4 14 millimeter nuts, which is like, you see one right there, you got one at the top, and then you're gonna have 2 at the bottom. Now I have seen a couple videos about this here, how to do this job. Now some guys, and even women, if they work on vehicles, now some of them have took the lower ball joint off, which you can do that as well. So I won't do that too much, because I just really got the wheels aligned on it, so I don't want to disrupt it too much. So I feel like it'd probably be better. So I'm just gonna do it that way, the way I'm just gonna do it that way, without like taking off the lower control arm, just separating the lower control arm from the lower ball joint. So I'm just gonna do it that way. So I'm just gonna hit this here, whack this a few more times, round this off a little bit right here, just round this indentation off a little bit, and then at that point, this should be ready to come off here without damaging up the thread. So but anyway, I'll be back in a minute, and we had this off. Okay, all right, one more time. So I got this thing rounded up a little bit, so I did get the indentation lifted up. This tool right here, this is actually really good. I actually like this. This is really cool right here. I feel like this is money well spent. I spent maybe $12 or $13 for it. Well, no, let me take that back. 23 is what I spent on this. Very, very well worth it. I really like that. That was money well spent. So I got that rounded off, so I feel like that I won't be messing up the threads, anything like this here. So we'll go ahead and see if we can go ahead and get this nut off of here, the axle nut off. See if I can do this here and try to film. right, so I got that off right there. So I don't think I messed this. That's hot there. I don't think I messed up any threads. So I'm gonna screw that back on by hand, make sure we all good. But I feel like we okay. So I don't think we're gonna have any damage there. So that is off. So that's it. But yeah, that was really hot there. So still warm to the touch. So, but so also what I want to do is, so just like in this case right here, where what you want to do next is like in case of your axle not moving in. So now, okay, so they're actually moving in, so that's actually moving freely. So that's what I want to do right there, because sometimes these actually will kind of lock up in here, and then just kind of like a rust lock. And then sometimes like this little hole right here, that dimple, sometimes you have to get like a center punch, just kind of tap it a few times, and then your axle will move inward. So so we won't have to worry about doing that. So that's actually really good. So so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the wheel, and we'll go ahead and get those 4 bolts off that holds the hub bearing on here, and that's a 14 millimeter. And I'll be back momentarily. Alrighty, so we're back again. All right, so I got the I did get the hub bearing out. It took me about 10 to 15 minutes to get this this piece out of here. It's really wedging there pretty good. So I mean, I hit it so hard to the point where I knocked the studs out of it, which I wasn't trying to do, but I knew I wasn't going to use this again anyway. But this thing here definitely had some play in it for sure, and it is making some noise. So these things are not supposed to have play in it. You know, it's definitely making some noise in it. So I don't know if you may not be able to hear it. I'm gonna see if I can make some noise with this thing here. Try to get it to make noise, but no, this thing here is definitely shot, but it's definitely sloppy. And this is the replacement one that's going in there. If you see right here, there is literally no play at all. So good and tight like it's supposed to be. And what I ended up doing was, also before I get ready to install that, so I ended up buying some Loctite 271 red Loctite. So I'm going to use this here on those studs when I get ready to put those put the new hub bearing in place there. Very important also too, this is the dust shield that goes on the back. So I did a little damage here trying to get the old one off of here, so I kind of bent it up a little bit. So I got to make sure I fix that. So I want to make sure that it doesn't scrape on the brake rotor or anything of that nature. So got to do that. Clean up some of the rust around here. So I'm debating if I want to go ahead and put some grease around that area or not, but I may go ahead and do so. And then, like I said, button this all together. So, but yeah, that's it. So that's how we're making a move right now. But yeah, it was definitely was not fun to get that bad boy out of there. It gave me a little fight there for about 10 minutes or so, but I won at the end, and that's what's important. All right. Well, anyway, enough of me talking. Let me do some work. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I got the CV axle in there. So what I ended up had to do, so when you get ready to put this into the transmission, and you know, you might have to lightly tap it. So so what I did, I just used my little 2-pound hammer, and you know, when you get ready to tap this in there, you don't have to like really whoop down on it. You just want to lightly tap it until it goes into the transmission, until it seats in, and then it stops leaking. So got that in there. Gonna go ahead and put everything else back together. Like I said, gonna go ahead and feed the CV axle through the hub bearing. I go ahead and put some little grease in here on the splines. Even though it's brand new, I don't have to do that. But you know, like I said, you know, this is a car here, you know, like I said, I'm gonna sell down the road. So like I said, you know, because I buy and sell flip cars and all that good stuff. So I try to, you know, like I said, replace stuff as needed. And this is just one of them things. Unfortunately, like I said, I didn't have to do it, but like I said, you know, I didn't like that noise there. And like I said, you know, if you get out here and the hub bearing, sometimes they can get really hot, and then they can actually fall off. They can actually come off the car. So I've seen it happen before. So I was just like, you know what, the hell with that. So we'll go ahead and change it out. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and feed the new axle through the hub bearing. Like I said, get all that stuff tightened down. Get the 2 22 millimeter bolts back together for the spindle onto the struts. Hopefully I won't need a wheel line, because unfortunately I did get a wheel line before all this stuff had happened. So hopefully I won't have to, but if I will, I will. But anyway, so that's how this kind of repair go. Like I said, I'm gonna get it together here and put everything together and go from there. Okay, so all right, so back once again. All right, so I got the spindle mounted back up with the strut here. Like I said in the last part of the video, these are 22 millimeter here, so I'm gonna torque those to spec here. I got them down pretty tight on there with my impact here. This the axle nut right here. I'm actually got to torque this down to 159 foot-pounds of torque right there. I got it seated on there right now, and then once I get it to 159 pound-feet of torque, then what I got to do is I got to make like an indentation right up in this little area right here where you see I got to make an indentation right there, so that way it prevents the axle nut from backing up. And then at that point, then once I get that taken care of, then I can go ahead and, you know, put the rotor back on, get the caliper bracket on, put the brake pads back on, and get the caliper back on, and then of course get the ABS sensor back on and get that bolted down on there. So they're just held down with a 10 millimeter bolt. And then after that, that'll be it. That'll be it with this repair right here. So like I said, typically under normal circumstances, and what I mean by normal, they're just like not having any issues, anything like this here, where like in the case right here where I had this the original CV axle that came out the car, like I said, yeah, the threads are totally jacked up, as you see right there. So I'm sure that probably could be fixed. I'm sure like an axle shop or something like that. I know there's really not too many of them around. You know, like I said, typically they might cut this off and maybe weld a piece there and just rethread this, or they might even rethread this. But like I said, I ended up finding the CV axle at a local parts store, and I think I paid like 75 or 80 bucks for it. So that's the part number 4 right there. So it's a Duralast brand from AutoZone. So it worked for what I needed to do. So like I said, at least the damn car won't sound like a blender anymore, because like I said, the original hub bearing that came off of here, it was, you know, I mean, it had a lot of play in it and everything else. And then like I said, you get around about between 55 and 60, I mean, the thing be sound like a blender. And then after you pass 60 miles an hour, you don't hear anything. And then of course, like under 55, you don't hear anything. So very common thing on these cars. So like I said, I'm gonna do the passenger side one, but it's gonna be kind of the same process. So I may not have time to do it today. That'll probably be an upcoming project. I'll probably do the next, maybe tomorrow and the day after, or something like that. But anyway, like I said, that's how you kind of do this repair right here for like a DIY person. Like I said, everything goes right and you don't have any issues like what I had right here, where your CV axle shaft threads doesn't, you know, mess up. You can have this done within an hour, if that. But anyway, like I said, if you like this video here, just go give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And also, I just want to say thank you to the new subscribers who've been subscribing to the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Trying to get more better with doing videos and everything. Trying to slow down on talking, but, you know, I try to, you know, explain these repairs, you know, so I'd rather talk about it than not doing enough talking. Let me say that again. You know, I'd rather talk about it and show what I'm doing, as opposed to not saying anything and just doing it. So, because you may not learn that way, but, you know, sometimes, you know, you have people that are very visual, that is a visual person, and that's totally okay. But anyway, enough of me rambling on. So, but anyway, y'all take it easy. Y'all have a good weekend. Like I said, hopefully the weather here in Dallas, it should be a lot better here. It's been raining all the entire week, so hopefully this rain will let up and we'll get back to some 80-degree weather here in Dallas and get a chance to enjoy it before it gets inferno summer around here, where it'll be 100 up to 115 degrees here sometime. But anyway, y'all take it easy. Mr. Law Jones is about to sign out. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Take it easy.